James Toback, Bill O'Reilly, Woody Allen, Bill Cosby, Mark Halperin, Harvey Weinstein, and President Donald Trump. What do all of these men have in common? They have all been accused of sexually harassing and/or sexually assaulting women. Well, can you define sexual harassment, sexual assault, and rape? Can you define feminism? People think that they know what these things are. However, what people think they know isn't always the truth. Women often do not have a firm definition. They do not understand what sexual harassment, sexual assault, or rape is. Therefore, they cannot recognize it and stand up for themselves or others if they or someone close to them were to ever be made a victim of a crime of a sexual nature. I have a friend. We will call her Veronica. Veronica was in a classroom after school with a male upperclassman who she considered to be a friend. As they sat talking, he leaned over to her and began to grope her breasts. Veronica asked him what he was doing and was clearly petrified and bothered by his actions, but he laughed and continued to touch and grab her in all of the areas a woman considers private. This is sexual assault. When any type of sexual contact or behavior occurs without the explicit consent of the recipient, this is assault. This is a crime. It took a lot of convincing to get Veronica to go to the administration. The perpetrator is an outstanding student, top of his class with no previously known incidences. She was scared of the negative attention she knew she would receive if she told, but she went to the administration. While walking into the office, the perpetrator stopped her and said, "Tell them nothing happened." Veronica was harassed several times in the hallways by his friends. Most of them think nothing happened and called her a liar and slut-shamed her, but one boy stopped her and said, "Why'd you have to tell? He's just a teenage boy trying to cop a feel." Veronica was harassed for being assaulted and daring to say anything about it. After everything that Veronica went through to get justice for what happened, nothing was done. He was not punished. Gender discrimination is so ingrained in our society, it is involuntary. Misogyny is so present we don't know how to recognize it. I myself did not take the situation as seriously as I should have at first. Women often do not recognize the severity of sexual harassment and sexual assault even when they are the victims. I grew up in a family of feminists. I grew up in a family that celebrates diversity, that believes in civil rights and equality. I grew up with Obama in the White House and Michelle fighting for girls' rights. And the only truth that I ever knew was that no one is better than anyone else. I was a part of two conflicting societies, my family and my school. These had very different views about gender. I went to a traditional middle school that treated girls as if they were dainty, fragile, and breakable. The students helped out a lot, and when the principal needed something moved, she would call over the loudspeaker, "Send a strong boy down to lift something." I remember I was carrying a box that had a few small books in it, and the principal said, "I can get a boy to carry that for you," because apparently a girl doesn't have the strength to carry a few books down a flight of stairs. And then in 8th grade, people could get involved in Lego League. Girls were not permitted to get involved in Lego League because this was seen as a boy's job. I was really confused. I talked to my mom about this and I said, "Wait, it's 2014, I'm lost. Haven't women already won this battle?" Well, 13-year-old me was about as wrong as Ptolemy when he came up with the geocentric theory. My mom had a conversation with me about gender inequality and prejudice, and my understanding from the conversation was, okay, so this was a huge issue in the past, and it's still kind of problematic, but nowhere near as problematic as it was. Again, I was as wrong as Ptolemy. I was brought into a family that said I can do anything a boy can. I entered into a society that said the complete opposite. People in said society behaved very differently than how I was taught to behave. I was taught to stand up to bullies. I was taught to fight for things that are right and just. However, standing up is difficult. When you stand up in a society that doesn't take women's issues seriously, that teaches that boys are superior, it is difficult when people in positions of power, such as Harvey Weinstein, abuse their power by sexually assaulting women. It is especially difficult when the President of the United States has been accused of and admitted to the sexual harassment and sexual assault of women. When women grow up being told they are inferior because of their sex, they carry that mentality with them throughout the rest of their lives. This deters them from standing up against sexual harassment, sexual assault, and rape. When women stand up to or speak out against the people who have violated them, they are not taken seriously because it's just male prerogative. Boys will be boys. Women are overreacting. They were asking for it. Or they're lying. They just want attention. Women are not taken seriously, and this is why rape culture continues to be prevalent in society. Girls and boys need societies that tell them they are equal. They need societies that teach them what sexual harassment, sexual assault, and rape are, so they can be prevented, and they can be dealt with when they do occur. Gender equality is one of the most important steps to making sure rape culture does not continue. However, gender inequality is present everywhere. One thing that largely contributes to gender inequality is societal gender expectations, whether that be the expectations of women to fit a certain body type or to take a certain job or role in society, as a mother, a wife, a caregiver, as an obedient follower, not as a leader. Women are seen as sexual objects meant to please men. Women who show too much skin are asking for it. Women are asking to be catcalled because it's a compliment. Women are asking to be harassed, groped, molested, assaulted, and raped. These women who show too much skin are called whores, tramps, hoes, sluts, skanks, and more. I don't think I have gone an entire day in all of my high school career without hearing some sort of hatred directed towards women, whether that be slut-shaming, body shaming, or worse. However, women are starting to bring each other up instead of seeing other women as competitors for men's attention and trying to tear each other down. With this confidence comes the courage to overcome certain societal rules, such as women have to wear bras or women have to shave, otherwise they won't be able to get a man. I don't shave my legs. Men aren't expected to, so why should I be? I refuse, even if people call me a Sasquatch, as one person so kindly put it. There is always negativity, but one thing women are becoming better at is overcoming hate. This is the feminist movement, overcoming patriarchy and sexism to help women succeed. One of the most common misconceptions about feminism is that it is detrimental to society. This is due to the stereotype that feminists are man-haters. Some people like to refer to feminism as cancerous. But is misogyny considered cancerous? No, because if men are oppressed, it's a tragedy. If women are oppressed, it's tradition. But here's the truth. If you are a person who believes in the social, political, and economic equality of the sexes, you are a feminist. I am a feminist. My dad is a feminist. Another common misconception about feminism is that it is only for women. Feminism is not gender exclusive. Feminism is for everyone. I remember one day my dad was talking to one of the administrators at my school, and my dad said that he was a feminist. The guy he was talking to was really surprised. And my dad had to explain to him, I am a feminist because I believe that my daughter can do anything a man can do. You have a daughter, you should be a feminist. Later, he walked up to my dad with a huge smile on his face and said, I am a feminist. Another way society has evolved is by creating a word for promiscuous men, fuckboy. However, people are more against using the word fuckboy because it contains the word fuck. The words slut, whore, etc. are not as frowned upon. The word girl is in many cases used as a derogatory term. You run like a girl, don't be such a girl. Why is it that one of the worst insults a male can receive is to be beaten by a girl or to be compared to a girl. I get it. Being compared to someone of the inferior sex is humiliating. However, women are just as competent and can be just as successful or more successful than men because women are not inferior. Women are starting to stand up. My mom's favorite quote is, "Be sure to put your feet in the right place, then stand firm." I live by this quote, and because of it, people sometimes ask me why I don't just let things go. Because apparently it's not that big of a deal, or it's the way things are, so I should just deal with them. Well, I don't want to let go of the fact that statistically, I have a better chance of being raped than I do of getting into my top choice college. The acceptance rate is 1 in 7. The chance of being raped is 1 in 5. However, if I were in college, that would increase to 1 in 4 or 5. If I were Native American, that would increase to 1 in 3. 1 in 4 girls will be sexually abused before they turn 18. I am one of those statistics. However, I didn't realize it until August of this year. When I was 10, I went to a summer camp. At this summer camp, a boy had heard a rumor that I wore bras, which at age 10 was a scandal. He wanted to find out for himself, so he cornered me on the playground and ripped off my clothes. I smacked him and ran to one of the counselors, and it was treated as if one kid had hit another kid, not as if one child had sexually violated another. The kid who ripped off my clothes was either 9 or 10 years old. Sexual aggression is not a natural behavior at that age. It is taught. The presence of rape culture teaches children that this is an acceptable way of behaving. Sexual assault affects a large majority of women in the world. Whether you know it or not, someone close to you has dealt with some form of sexual assault. A few months ago, I found out that my voice teacher was raped in college. Rape is the crime of forcing another person to have sexual intercourse, either vaginal, anal, or oral, without their consent. I have an audio recording of her explaining her experiences, which I will now share.
I was a girl who stayed completely focused when I was younger. I was always practicing, preparing, or studying for something. I deliberately did not concern myself with boys. I wasn't interested. I was in a way saving myself. I was a complete virgin to physical exchange with the opposite sex, except maybe a slow dance or two. I was untouched. I found myself at a party with friends in college, off campus with graduate students, and I was on high alert to be careful. I'd made distinct plans to make sure I got back to campus safely and with my friends. I was not careful enough. I figured out much too late that my friends left without me, and I realized that I must have been drugged or slipped something earlier in the night. I was alone with a fully grown man, my stand partner in our school symphony. I still don't know exactly what happened that night, which still terrifies me. But I do know that my frequent and increasingly emphatic no's didn't do me any good. Either he or whatever drug or drink he gave me eventually overtook me, and I couldn't fight him. Afterwards, I was filled with guilt and shame. Was this rape? Had I been raped? I had never even been kissed. And now I'm dirty, besmudged, used, sullied. I kept thinking, this is my fault. I was stupid. I brought this on myself. Worst of all, this type of thinking and these feelings is what prevented me from seeking help. If we can let victims know that blaming themselves, feeling guilty and ashamed, is a part of what happened to them, maybe we can encourage more of them to seek help and sooner.
After what happened to her, she felt guilty. She felt ashamed because she had never even been kissed. And now her virginity had been stolen from her. However, what happened to her wasn't her fault. Because the only cause of rape is rapists. After everything that the people in my life had gone through, the hate, the discrimination, the sexual harassment, the sexual assault, the rape, I was fed up. I am fed up. So I decided to do something about it. I have always heard people say, be the change you want to see in the world. So that is exactly what I decided to do. I met with the deans of my school and proposed that we hold a school-wide Women's History Month assembly to speak about women's issues and achievements. After about a month, it was approved. Then began the planning. I had no idea what was supposed to go into this, so I sat down one night and wrote down things people are confused about when it comes to women, feminism, double standards, derogatory terms, the wage gap, sexual harassment, sexual assault, and rape. It was a big-ass list. But with the help from one of my teachers and my fellow students, the planning and preparation was finished. The assembly spoke about women who have made an influence in history and talked about women's issues by having dancers and singers perform, presentations, videos, and guest speakers. The assembly went amazingly well. It was given a lot of praise by the faculty, administration, and students. Of course, people had some degrading things to say, but when aren't there trolls? However, no troll is going to keep me from standing firm. We are already planning the second Women's History Month Assembly. And with the help from my teacher, my dad, and my friends, I will continue to speak about these issues because Veronica's experience is sexual assault. My teacher's experience is rape. This is feminism. Well, as you recall, I just mentioned the Women's History Month Assembly. In the assembly, some students wrote slam poetry. It was written by Sydney Krasinski, Grace Rhodes, and myself, and will be performed by Grace Rhodes, myself, and Tainetta Muhammad.
I always ask myself, why don't I look like the girls on TV or magazines?
Why my nose isn't the right shape.
Why my eyes are too squinty.
Why I don't look good in most clothing?
Why my thighs are too big.
Why I'm not tall enough.
Why I'm too tall?
Why I'm not pretty.
I never understood why women have been held to such high expectations in society.
Girls are expected to look pretty, be thin, have flawless skin.
But then you decide not to wear makeup and everyone laughs.
Or you're not as thin as the girl next to you and you get fat shamed.
And your self-esteem goes down from low to non-existent.
Girls are classified into degrading categories.
Slut,
Whore,
attention whore,
drama queen,
easy,
or worse. But whatever happened to smart?
determined,
Whatever happened to telling girls they can be leaders?
ambitious,
or that they are powerful.
Because the biggest insult a man can receive is to be beaten by a girl.
Why are girls always being called hot and sexy? Yes, they're considered compliments, and yes, it's nice to hear positive words.
But those words?
Why are people always focused on the exterior?
There's so much more to women than just their physical appearance.
Why is it when a girl is nice to someone of the opposite sex, people think she's flirting?
A girl can have guy friends and everyone thinks she's being a little too friendly.
So she gets called a slut.
Or she gets called trashy.
If she laughs too much or at the wrong thing, she's desperate.
Girls who are not size 2 are fat, but girls who are size 2 are anorexic.
Girls who aren't happy all the time are too hormonal and attention-seeking, but girls who are happy all the time are fake.
Girls who dress modestly are prudes, while girls who show skin are asking for it.
If a guy has sex with multiple girls, it's considered an accomplishment.
If a girl has sex with multiple guys, she's easy and a whore.
Everyone's talking behind her back.
What a skank.
What a double standard. We all have that one friend with flawless skin,
a beautiful smile,
gorgeous eyes.
an entertaining laugh.
who's a size 2 and can pull off any outfit.
She demeans herself as ugly or fat.
If she classifies herself as ugly and fat,
What
does that make me?
But then we need to stop and think.
Maybe she is constantly being told there's something wrong with her.
Maybe she is influenced by the words of society and has learned to hate herself. We never stop and consider how a girl feels before anything is said or done.
The girl who is called a slut is a virgin.
The girl who's quiet and ashamed for being awkward has severe social anxiety.
The girl who is called fat is starving herself.
The girl who is mocked because she isn't the traditional definition of beauty is desperately trying to love herself for who she is. Do we ever stop and think?
Telling the depressed girl to kill herself.
Calling the girl who got pregnant a slut.
But what do we call the father?
Do you ever think about how one small word can get on a girl's skin?
Girls are under so much pressure by society to act a certain way.
To be pretty.
To have flawless skin and straight teeth.
To be thin. Well, this is your wake-up call.
So what if she doesn't have a pearly white smile?
So what if her skin isn't clear and even?
So what if she's 5 foot?
So what if she's 6 foot?
So what if she doesn't wear makeup?
So what if she isn't a size 2?
So what? That doesn't make her anything less than amazing.
It makes her unique.
It makes her beautiful.
It makes her, her.
People should be judged by what's in their heart, mind, and soul.
Nobody should be judged by the looks on their faces.
By the way their body curves.
Or because of their gender. Girls are judged by their physical appearance when it's the way someone looks on the inside that matters.
As Emma Watson said,
It's time
we stop defining ourselves by what we are not, but by what we are.